So today is March 4th, 2014, and I'm Mary Challman interviewing Ms. Edith
Nickens.
Nickens.
They called it Newtown, and they could have hogs and anything. My father had hogs down here on the upper end of, in fact, my brother built a house on it. He had hogs. He didn't have them but 1 year. I think that was enough for him. And he had 3. And we would come and help him to feed them and something like that. But it was, I didn't enjoy that. And then I didn't like to come up to this area, and because you had everything up here and it all smelled.
Because of the hogs and all the animals?
Yeah. We lived in an old barber shop. And so then we were able to find another place. Because, see, we couldn't live all over town like we did now. You had certain parts you could live in, so you didn't have choices. We have white neighbors and black neighbors. I lived next to a family that their garden came past our backyard. They used to play with all the kids. And I lost one little girl. Her name was Eileen. And she was 12 years old. And at that time, the trains come through here. And they would be so full that coal would fall off them. And people would go to pick up this coal. And Eileen and her sisters had a wagon, and they went to pick some up. And we didn't have a lot of cars at that time. But in coming back, she was pushing the wagon, and a car run over her, killed her. She was a little white girl. I had a little white boyfriend. He was, I guess we must have been 6 or 7 years old. And we had a playhouse in our yard. And so whenever we played house then, he was my husband. That's who he was. And one night, I was married, and I'm sure Mike was too. And I was at a house that of my friend, and he and some men came in, and I recognized him right away because he was full of freckles and he just never changed. And he looked at me and he said, "Well, here's my wife." And I said, "Oh, Lord, please don't say that." And he said, "But you are." And he said, "I remember you being my wife." And of course, we had a good time laughing about it. And the kids I played with, when we got 13 or 14 years old, we didn't play no more. And I never thought nothing about it. It was a way of life. Oh, we had some friends we played cards with, things like that. I went to dances. My husband never was one for doing anything. And so I would go with friends.
Where would you go dancing?
We had a place called the Colonnade and the Civic Center. Civic Center was downtown. We were loosened up a little more when we started being allowed that.
We've heard about the Colonnade before, just sort of in passing. Was Did a lot of social events happen there? Was that sort of like a hangout place?
Well, they had a restaurant downstairs and a dance hall and a pool room upstairs.
How often were there dances?
That's where they were. We had big time bands down there.
What were the dances like?
Oh, jitterbug and I don't know what all. I wasn't a great dancer, but I enjoyed it.